Okay, so I just wanted to come on and speak to this. Now, we all know where we were when we see this picture. This picture hit the front pages and go around the globe as we watched Diana walk across landmines, as we watched her cradling babies with AIDS, as she brought the change, as she gave a visual, as she shone a light on their plight, in how comparisons have been a massive part of my life. And I speak on the aftermath of abuse, in how comparisons growing up in my home was a constant for me, in comparing myself to my peers, my friends, and what life was like for them when they got home from school. In how going in the woman's refuge, me and my mum frantically searching the room to understand who had it worse than us, and if anyone didn't have it as worse as us, so we could find our place, so we could find it comfortable. But also in that moment, belittling our own pain, because we can't claim we weren't worthy to be in that place, because there was someone more deserving than us, because this is the regime that they leave in place. And comparisons are moving past that and going to the aftermath and comparing people in front of me to work out and feed what's good and bad, what's wrong and right, what's threat and what's not. But then also comparisons on a dark day when your mind starts to struggle because of that regime, in how I constantly search for someone who had it worse than me, back there again. But this one is different because it's to find peace in myself, to understand and help me get through that dark day, understanding the pain that others may feel that may be greater than mine. And I suppose I'm not an expert, I'm not a journalist, I'm just a person who uses the tools of analysis that I had to use to get through. Comparisons in how Harry and Meghan have played a dangerous game in resurrecting Diana, and only for her dark days, in my opinion, because long gone were the days of her walking across landmines and taking that title bestowed and growing and learning and understanding the ropes so she could take that title to shine a light on them. That picture of this woman cradling a baby with AIDS, and how we looked on and we didn't see Diana in that place. We see that Diana with that baby with AIDS, and how we understand and understood that plight that this baby would face. And here's the thing, I'm not your conventional YouTuber, because I don't go researching, I just speak on what I feel. I share my opinions, my understanding. And this video right here, credit to Paula M, because she shone a light on this video for me to speak on, to feel, to understand, to strike a comparison, because this is what I do.
What do you do about designers? I mean, are they recommended to you, or do you pick up an idea here and there to go to the right person?
When I first arrived, there were a lot of people to help me, and it's now really my own choice. But I can't always wear what I'd like to on engagement, because it's just not practical. You'd be amazed what one has to worry about, up from the obvious things like the wind. 'Cause there's always a gale wherever we go, and the wind is my enemy, there's no doubt about that. And you've got to put your arm out to get some flowers, so you can't have something too revealing, and you can't have hems too short, because when you bend over there's 6 children looking at your skirt, and it goes on like that. You've got to be, clothes are for the job, you've got to be practical. And
here we see a young Princess Diana. We see a young Princess Diana giving a nod to this family, this institution, in how they helped her. They taught her the ropes, how she took that and she learned and she grew, to then lead her to a point where she got to choose. But with the lessons taught, she then understood the protocol. She understood what outfits would be right and what wouldn't be right, because she stuck around. She stuck around and respected what they were giving to her, because she knew this title bestowed and what she could achieve, what she could show, as she set out to walk alongside that title and not just garner it to talk to us with it. And because Harry's been so keen to shine a light in comparison to Diana and Meghan, we understand with the visuals that are placed before us, even from this weekend just gone, the stark contrast, the stark difference in these two women, in how Diana too married into a family just like Meghan. But how Diana understood the value in that title, in what she could do with that title, in how she could learn to grow to shine a light on them rather than herself. Because that feeling of helping another would far surpass that feeling of using that title for grandeur on a stage. That feeling would run out. And that's the thing, the feeling didn't run out with Diana because the people's touch stayed on forever. We see it in William, in how he handles himself, in how he and Catherine, Princess of Wales, will touch the people. They will connect. They will use their titles to shine a light on them. And we don't see that with Harry and Meghan. We see them with the bows and the whistles. We see them this weekend as Meghan didn't stick around to learn and to grow, in how she doesn't understand and read a room or respect protocols and understand the situations that she is placed in, and this stage so big, in how it has become a dangerous game, in my opinion. Because we see them go to Nigeria. We see them go to Nigeria to shine a light on Invictus. Where are Invictus? Where have the vets gone? Because we don't see them anymore. What we see is you two, yet again, on a stage, speaking to those titles and not walking alongside them. We don't see this humanitarian effort. We see Meghan on a tour of discovering herself and using Invictus to get her there. We see them using a charity, but we don't see that charity and the plight that these veterans are in. We see the plight of Harry and Meghan in how they want to use those titles to bend the curve of the damage they have created. We see Meghan Markle wearing outfits that are barely there in countries where the dress code don't speak to that. We see Meghan Markle and Harry constantly on a loop, feeding off Diana, trying to compare, and the comparisons just aren't there. So if I were to compare the two titles before me, one of Princess Diana, in how she took that title, how she walked with it, how she walked across landmines with it, how she took that title to shine a light on another's plight, in how that feeling of sadness and sorrow, she somewhat used that title to create a positive, to create a fix, to help another in situ, to show us the plight of someone else, and who knows, maybe so they in that place on that dark day could strike a comparison of this visual she brought in front of our face, because others have it worse than us every given day. In turn, people wanted to see more of Diana. They wanted her to grace them with her presence. They adored her and they grieved her on the day she died, like losing one of their own within their family, because this is what the royal family are, an echo chamber, characters that we choose to love and adore, and we choose to not respect because of what they achieve with those titles bestowed. And we look what Harry and Meghan have achieved with these titles bestowed, and that's pain and hurt and divide and arguing for either side. We see two people who stand for God Save the King, when we all understand what they chose to do to him, as they're in a place on a stage replicating a place that they were given with that title but choose to destroy. So we get a negative feeling from that title, so we look up to them and we don't feel good, we don't respect, and we don't want to support the charity that they say they're there to support, but instead we see them on a stage speaking about themselves some more. So yeah, that's just my comparisons and what I see before me from a place gone by in history and what I see current day, in how the two don't marry up, and it's not a comparison that we can strike between Princess Diana and Meghan Markle. In my opinion, it's subjective. I'm not a journalist, I'm not an expert, just a person, the people's touch I support.